Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. On behalf of Remote Scouts, I would like to welcome you. Today we are once again discussing the topic of US clients hiring talent from Pakistan, and for that purpose we have here in house with us Mr. Mahad Bajwa, who is a UGrad alumni and has considerable experience in working with US clients during his graduation as well as post-graduation. So Mr. Bajwa, how are you today?
I'm good.
So Mr. Bajwa, my first question with you and what I would want to know is that can you please run me through your educational journey as to what degrees have you obtained, how was your UGrad experience, and also from what institutions did you obtain those degrees?
So I hail from a small town, Mirpur Khas in Pakistan, Sindh. I did my undergraduate from National University of Sciences and Technology as a software engineer. While in my undergraduate journey, I got a scholarship by US Department of State to study in US at St. Cloud State University, Minnesota. So despite having a technical degree, I opted to study entrepreneurship and business management out there. While I was at St. Cloud State University, I got to participate at Student Government Association, became a senator at large. Moreover, participated in state debating championships, participated in some entrepreneurial competitions, visited Silicon Valley. So, and then after my graduation as a software engineer, I worked for like around 3 years as a software engineer, going on into my master's degree at Lahore University of Management Sciences.
All right, that's great to know, and that's quite the journey. So moving on to the next question, since you're an alumni, what are your thoughts on the US educational system?
So the US education system is indeed amazing, and it's obviously open source, so you can even access it online for people here. But what's the best part about being in a US classroom is the communication between the student and the teacher. So the barrier is so low that students are very open to share their thoughts, and the teachers are similarly accept dissent and criticism. Rather, I think dissent is one of a very core culture in US education system. And the best part about as I became part of the student government was that students were the ones who passed budgets in their university. Students were the one who could have made any department accountable for their actions back in university. So the student empowerment is, I think, the major like best part about the US education system.
So my next question with you is that what are your thoughts on the working relationship between Pakistani undergrads and US professionals, based on your experience of working with them?
Yeah, so I'll particularly be addressing this question with respect to my experience as a UGrad exchange student back in US. So the best part about US community is that they are inclusive and they are habitual of receiving international students, and hence there are if I talk particularly about St. Cloud, the city where I lived in, and St. Cloud State University, there was Global Friends was an organization where people like all the people in like senior citizens of the community used to provide us all the ease while living here and adjusting in United States, while introducing us with local culture, local games, and introducing us with local opportunities. So I feel that that relationship with professionals is amazing because they really want you to become part of it, and they really try to promote the most friendly atmosphere as much as possible.
So my next question from you is, what are the key differences between US education system and the Pakistan education system, since you have been a part of both?
One of the very major differences is the amount of resources available to both, and while the kind of opportunities both of them go to fetch, right? So obviously the US undergraduates get access to more resources, maybe better faculty, while Pakistani undergraduates might not. And what we see is that apparently both of the undergraduates go to fetch the similar kind of opportunities and have the very similar kind of a skill set. And the reason being that that makes Pakistani undergraduates more resilient because they become habitual of self-learning and try fetching deeper into opportunities, and they go beyond a normal US undergrad to go for better opportunities, and hence they are of a stronger character by the time they graduate, and they have a better work ethic as well, I suppose.
So my next question from you, Mr. Bajwa, is that how can Pakistanis and Pakistani undergrads build good trust and rapport with the US clients?
I think there are a few very basic rules of communication, especially with the new remote ecosystem that has been built. There are no borders, there are no barriers, and equal opportunities available to everyone. I think so. There are two major things. So the work should be outcome based. So rather than calculating the number of hours, the amount of work should be calculated based on outcomes. And Pakistani talent should be responsible for providing that outcome. While the communication should be synced up, so the response rate is particularly important. So US clients work while it's midnight in Pakistan, but me as a freelancer myself, I'm a top rated freelancer on a freelance platform. What I try to do the maximum is that anytime I get a message, at least I respond, and while by the time I am on my work desk, I work and deliver based on the outcome. So I think if these two things go together, you get a better rapport, and eventually you build a long-term relationship based on quality work and performance.
So what are some of those qualities that make you a good fit for US offshore hiring?
I think since we have gone to the remote ecosystem, a lot of outcomes are skill based. So what makes you a good hire is obviously getting more technically sound. So becoming technically sound, even you don't need to have access to paid resources. So now you have access to free resources via YouTube, via Udemy, via a lot of online tutorials, and all of the Medium articles. Every particular skill set that is required is available online. So for getting a remote job that is at par with maybe a US citizen getting it there while you work here remotely, I think it's all about the skill set. And secondly, and there's no barrier to it because all is available online, and most of it is available for free. So I think it's all the skills game.
So Mr. Bajwa, this has been a great conversation. Let's just move it further. So how comfortable are you in working in a cross-cultural environment? And can you name an example of a situation where you had to navigate out of a crisis or a dispute that arose due to such an environment where there are many differences, not just limited to the time zones?
Yeah, so you often face those while you're working cross-culture teams, because the perspectives are different, the time scales are different, the availability time scale. For instance, if it's maybe more like very early morning, 5 a.m., 4 a.m. in one region, and while it's 9 or 10 p.m. in other region, and there's no communication for 3-4 hours, it might be perceived bad on one region. So I think it's more about understanding perspective. One of the incident I'll quote was one of my US clients who initially perceived that because of not very much clarity in the communication, perceived that the work delay is because of on my end, and I have not been able to deliver. But I think the best part is to communicate and share and with all of the screenshots and demos that you can prove that the work is being done. So I think it's all about how you communicate, and communicating your problems out. You go through the cross-culture differences, but if you keep it in the backstore, it creates bigger problems and just extravagate the misunderstandings.
Mr. Bajwa, this has indeed been a very insightful conversation. My last question to you is, and this is going to be all about you, what are those practical skills and expertise that you possess that make you consider yourself a good fit for US offshore hiring? And also, can you name, and I would actually want to know this, can you name a few examples where you had to practically demonstrate these skills, and what were the outcomes with them?
Yeah, so recently I have been working as an AI integrations engineer. So since the advent of large language models and GPT, I, being a conventional websites and mobile app developer, I have transitioned myself, or rather adapted to the new reality, where there's huge demand for integrating artificial intelligence into your applications. So I think that's my major skill set. And further on, I provide services as a web developer and a cloud developer as well, using Amazon Web Services, Azure. So I think what makes me particularly a good hire for a US client would be that I'm adaptable to all the new technologies, I'm adaptable to the new demands. And the example projects would be, I recently integrated a chatbot with an EPUB PDF reader. So you were reading something and there's a bot that can assist you with it. And plus, I recently made a Chrome extension that can help you, that basically takes the notes of the meeting automatically and compiles them automatically, so you don't need to do it yourself. And similarly, I have integrated GPT with WhatsApp, increasing its the audience for that. So yeah, so I keep on building new AI-based products, and I think it's the new wave. And I think if me as a Pakistani talent is available to provide those services, then definitely we stand at par with any other nationality, I'd say.
That's great to know, and that's quite a lot of achievements. I am personally impressed. Mr. Bajwa, this has been a great conversation with you, and I personally enjoyed meeting and interacting with you as well. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.